right, and we're live. Welcome, everybody. This is the Reality Czars podcast, and we're your hosts, Nate and Tony.
Hello.
We have the great Sally Mayweather on. We're really stoked about this. We wanted to get on and fucking talk about Joe Bizzle's fucking ghost gun ban and his kind of bullshit. So we're going to talk a little Second Amendment. We're going to talk a little 3D printing and some ghost guns. So, Sal, welcome, brother.
What's up, gentlemen? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's been a minute. What's new, man? What's new in your life?
Not much, man. Just working, trying to plug it along. I'm working on a new book. Hopefully it'll be out by next fall. But other than that, trying to stay busy, enjoy life.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You want to give us a sneak peek? What's the book about?
So it's going to be like a history book, actually. It's sort of like a history of government. And the preliminary title, the working title is history of what went wrong, or just what went wrong. I'm thinking of calling it. It's a working title, but it's a work in progress. It turned out to be a lot more work than I thought, but I'm trying to keep it like short and concise and make like a compelling narrative, like tracing the evolution of like the whole idea of government, where it came from and how we got to where we are today.
Oh yeah.
Sort of like the story of man's attempt to like limit government, but yeah, so it's a work in progress. Hopefully by next fall it should be ready to be released.
Awesome.
Woodrow Wilson is what went wrong. They have our first comment here.
He's one of them for sure.
Baked Lotus. All right, thank you, Baked Lotus. So definitely, let's see here. So I'd heard you on another podcast. I think you were talking with Pete at one time. You were talking. I think what you said, I fucking made a lot of sense to me. It was like the very first time that a government was created and they started regulating the market at all in any way. That was when agorism was born. Like right. That's the first black market. It was the first time they tried to institute any type of regulation. And that's true, man. So yeah, we're as old as capitalism. We're as old as exchange.
As soon as they try to regulate the market, they create like a black or a gray market. And it's just I'm telling you, to me, like there is something really like deep and profound occurring there. There's some sort of mechanism at play there that I think is like profound.
The first hero to say, I'm not paying my taxes. Fuck you.
Right. Exactly.
I would imagine back in the day, it was a lot more naked, that people just kind of knew that's like, this is bullshit. Like, we didn't have this here last year.
Oh, yeah. Imagine being the first people that were like, you have to, every time you sell something, part of that has to go to me.
Right.
And they're like, fuck you.
Well, was it James Scott's book Against the Grain? I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's a great book where he like traces like the very first like governments and like how they like all sprang up in like coastal regions. I'm sorry, in like centers, like in population centers that were like based on grain, because it was easy to appropriate taxes. Whereas people who lived in like coastal estuaries were like the last ones to be conquered by governments. And like if you think about it, like in Florida, the Indians, it wasn't until like Andrew Jackson, like 150 years ago, was able to like get out like the remaining Indians who like lived in like the coastal regions of Florida and stuff like that. So it's completely true. And then like later on with the Romans and stuff, they actually privatized tax collection. So like there would be like they would outsource it to private firms. And the way it would work is like, all right, they're going to give the Roman state X amount of money, but anything on top of that they can get out of the people, they can keep for themselves. Mm-hmm. So it's, and then
I mean, even the Romans couldn't get the Irish, man. The Irish were like the last hold, like until like what 200 years ago, the Irish were still fucking free and saying fuck Britain, like fuck England. I know it.
Yeah, even like the poor Irish, what they've been put through in recent history. Oof.
Yeah, buddy. No, I was listening to a history podcast. I think what the hell? Oh, Behind the Bastards, if you've ever heard that. He's kind of a left liberal dude, but he does a really good fucking show where he just goes through like the biggest bastards in history, and he just does this really like step by step, and like he was talking about the potato famine and just how the British like really. I mean, he does a lot of like blaming capitalism, you know what I mean? But like. So it's a limited hangout, but dude, there's some good fucking morsels, and it's fucked up, dude. It's fucked up.
Most of what the people tell me about the British government, I believe the bad things at least.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. I mean, that's my big thing. You can ask Tony. I fucking blame the British for everything. Like every modern fucking problem, if you trace it back, it's like, what's that, like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? You know what I mean? You can fucking trace it back to those fucking cunts, dude.
It's true. It's no joke. I mean, they've literally colonized. Like, what's the old saying? The sun never sets on the British Empire. I have a friend from Ireland who said that was only because God didn't trust them in the dark.
Those fucks.
So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, how many people speak English around the world? I mean, that just goes to show you.
Yeah. As a result of them, yeah.
So we were gonna. I don't even know. We didn't have to bring this up, but we were talking a little bit about the Christian anarchist fucking drama that's going on right now.
Happened? What's going on?
Just so there's old school guys and more progressive guys, and basically what they're arguing about right now is if women can be pastors or not. And so,
I saw a bit about that.
Oh, dude. Yeah, so like I run the memes for the Bad Roman. That's like that's one of the projects that I work for, and we did something about that. And goddamn, did everyone come out to fucking either like, yes, of course women can be pastors, or oh fuck you, that's not what the Bible says, and then just
what's the correct position? I'll be honest, I'm not theology is not my forte. What is the correct position?
Okay, so from my opinion, if you actually study the Bible, it does say that women shouldn't be like in a place of leadership, like that. But that was like that was Paul, and Paul was kind of a dick. I mean, Paul is great on a lot of things. I'm gonna get so much hate, dude. I'm gonna get so many angry fucking. Anyways, whatever. So to be honest, I think that women obviously should have a valuable place in church leadership. I don't necessarily know if they should be the pastor or not. I don't know, because according to the Bible, they're not, but that also seems stupid to me. So I don't know, man. I go to I went to church today. We go to church on Saturday, and we have like a very traditional, it's a Russian Messianic church.
Ooh, wow, okay.
And we're pretty old school, dude. And they let ladies go up there and talk and stuff, but they're definitely not preaching.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah. I grew up Catholic. There was no such thing as any of that stuff. But
what did they let the nuns do? They don't let them up there and talk, huh? They're just like
they hit us. If we got out of line, they would just smack us, and like they were like the teachers and like
their job is to keep you guys in line.
Yeah, basically they were like in charge of like the kids and stuff like that, and teaching us, and like they would smack us and stuff. They would like take rulers to our knuckles and stuff. They were nasty, those ladies. God forgive me.
They're showing you God's love by beating you.
They beat God's love into us.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'm going to get some angry Catholics now, too. That's all right.
Well, I'm going to Catholic Mass tomorrow morning. So
are you really? That's awesome.
Yeah, sunrise Mass. It should be nice. I
like sunrise services. Those are really nice. Is it outdoors?
It is. Yeah. On Tampa Bay, so it should be nice. We'll see. I've never been to it.
Dude, they're fucking beautiful, dude. I love sunrise services. Like,
nice.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I've never been to a Catholic Mass. I was trying to date this Catholic girl, and I used to sell pot to all the Catholic school kids because they had money, and I was a dirtbag Protestant, and I could go in there and sell them a bunch of pot. And
all their parents' money paying for the tuition.
Yep, went straight into my pocket. It was great. Yeah,
pure agorism. I love it.
So let's talk guns, man. How familiar are you with this fucking band? There we go. I've been reading a little bit about it. I definitely didn't read the whole bill, but essentially what it sounds like is 150 days from like 4 days ago or something. Here we go. We got somebody out here who says, if you're an East Coast, head to the beach before sunrise. All the planets will be aligned. Hint, look west. Not sure about the time.
Is that
okay? That's from Yoshi. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Yoshi. That's cool, man. I'm not on the East Coast, or I would, but Tony, you should get out there, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
I did not know that.
So what it sounds like is like 150 days from like 4 days ago, they're going to make companies that sell parts background check anybody that tries to buy parts to then assemble into a gun. Is that about what it is?
Yeah, so like the way I understand it, it was like 120 or 150 days from when it was passed, or when it was. It's not even a law. This is an edict. This is like an executive order, like Caesar would pass. There's no legislature involved whatsoever. This is completely done by edict.
The only good thing about that is the next guy can just throw it out the window.
I know,
Yeah,
but
it's silly.
Bush and Obama started the abuse of the executive order. I mean, the executive branch has been abused for.
What's the history of the executive order? Do you know anything about that? Like,
it used to be purely for procedural purposes, like there would be an executive order signed to change the number of Marines that stand outside the White House, or something like that. It'd be very procedural. It wasn't used for anything like substantive. And Bush pushed the envelope a little bit, and Obama just went crazy with it. He used it as like as if he was Congress or something like that.
And then that was fucking Pandora's box, and now everybody says,
Trump did the same thing, and Bush and Biden is doing the same thing, and really now there's just no point of having Congress. Also, the executive branch, the part of the executive branch that's even more dangerous are all these ABC agencies.
Yeah.
Right, which are essentially like an unaccountable fourth branch of government. The FBI, the NSA, the Bureau of Land Management, the ATF, all of these, the alphabet soup boys, who basically they get to act as if because they are considered agents of the executive, they get to act with executive authority, and which is basically they can just do whatever they want. So they can they can pretty much write a memo and have this memo carry the force of law. It's really absurd, and there's almost no sort of way or no good way to appeal any of their regulations or anything like that. So this is the government's trick of how they've been like using and abusing all of this stuff. So now with the ATF, what they're doing now is they're saying that all 80% receivers have to be serialized, and all like I didn't even read the whole.
Can we start doing 75% receivers then? Can we like fuck with them and like?
Yeah,
I'm sure we can get some little dumb
How
shit
do you
around
measure
it,
that? How do you even measure that?
I honestly, I'm not completely sure, but I can tell you that Cody Wilson just came out the other like a week or two before this executive order was announced, and he released the 0% receiver. So it's literally just a block of aluminum that you get, just a block of metal, and you stick into the ghost gun machine, and you press a few buttons, and it jigs out a whole receiver for you. So there's really no way they can stop this. There's nothing they can do to prevent this. It's sort of like they're grasping at straws here.
Hell yeah, man! No, it's fucking retarded.
Concerned about it.
It's like when they try to it's like when they try to ban a certain new fucking type of drug, and then all these people do is just change the chemistry of it this much, and then it's fucking.
But we're 10 steps ahead of them. We're like Cody came out with the 0% receiver like weeks before they came out with their executive order on the old material. And the same is true in other areas of counter economics, by the way. Like they're still wrestling with Bitcoin, whereas we're moving on to like dark fi and tokenized real estate and securities. It's like we're always 10 steps ahead of them, and that's why I think like the Agora is inevitable.
Fucking A, it is, man. We just got another comment here. It says, yes, sorry to change the subject, Ghost Guns, but since you mentioned getting up for a sunrise service, it'd be nice to see something different in the skies. By the way, nice guns, Sal.
Thank you, Walter. PDP, full size 5-inch hollow sun. It's a nice gun. I like this thing.
He might be talking about your biceps over there too. I don't know.
There are no guns. They're all flat.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I go to that church right now, and like the anti-Russian sentiment is getting fucking weird, man. So it's I have been a security guard at my church for the longest time too. I get up there, I'm kind of like an associate pastor too. I get up there and fucking preach sometimes too, but no matter what, always have a fucking gun on my hip just in case, because it's fucking
absolutely
weird, man. It's fucking weird.
You're right. I just got in trouble for like I forget what I said about how we shouldn't get involved or something like that, or how we should remain uninvolved in the conflict. And everybody, and like you can't really please both sides of the argument. There's so much emotion that's already been injected into the conflict. The state has already made it successfully. Like I don't even know. It's crazy to me though, like from an outsider's perspective, how they can sort of pick and choose which, like, they control the narrative so deeply.
Mm-hmm.
They pick and choose which issues are in the forefront of discussion.
Yeah, man, it's wild. And at the same time, they're doing shit over here, and that's why it's a master like puppet fucking relationship.
Exactly.
Is because they're like, you're mad at Russia this week, and over here we're doing something fucked up.
Look what we're doing in Yemen.
Yeah,
as we
Russia are fucking war criminals. Those pieces of shit. And like, yeah,
meanwhile, they're doing worse.
Yeah,
crazy. It's crazy.
And if you're in Russia right now, you probably hate us and have just like, oh, what, that Ukraine thing? What's that?
dude, they're trying to fucking say, they're trying to make Putin look weak. They're trying to do whatever the fuck they can. They're trying to say that, like, I think he's running out of bullets and shit. But you know what's funny is that, like, his approval numbers, Putin's inside of his country, were at the 70s, and now they're in the high 80s right now. So Russians actually like approve of whatever the fuck Putin's doing right now, which is funny because it's the mere opposite of like what the hell's going on with JBiz, dude. He's down at 33%. Did you hear that? Sal, buddy, are you still there? I think we lost Sal. He's frozen.
Froze up.
Okay, you're still there, Tony. Let's see here.
Yeah.
There we go. I think he's going to hop back in. Oh, live radio, guys. But no, that is 33. Fucking... He's at 33%. I was like, okay, Illuminati confirmed. Is that what we're doing? No, the new Quinnipiac poll.
But yeah.
33% is pretty bad, dude. It's pretty fucking bad. Let's see here. I will miss. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Hey, buddy.
My internet just decided to just die on us for some reason. I have no idea what happened, but I connected to my.
We're moving over the target, buddy. That's why.
Yeah, I know. I'm not kidding.
I was just saying that, like, whatever the fuck is going on in Russia, like, they're trying to paint Putin as the bad guy. They're trying to make him weak, but like right now, his approval numbers, if you believe the approval numbers, were in the 70% before the invasion, and now it's in the high 80s. Or in the mid 80s right now. So the Russians, like, I guess, approve of what the fuck's going on. And simultaneously, fucking JBiz is down to 33% approval rating, which I think might be one of the lowest ever.
Yeah, right. I know. It's just an absolute joke. The man can't even complete a sentence. I actually feel bad for him. I feel like they just, the DNC, like, sort of demagogues, the bureaucrats just propped him up on the stage. And the poor man can't even complete a sentence because of his mental decline. It's almost like cruel and unusual. It's like, get the man the help he needs, get him to a doctor, get him to like a nursing home. It's like, not only that,
he's the perfect president, man. He's the perfect president. They fucking love that shit. Because just like you said, like how basically how the executive orders have made a Congress obsolete. They like that shit because they don't want their names attached to that shit. They don't want to take any responsibility.
You're right.
Now they have like this dead guy that they just put a fucking thing in his ear, put a teleprompter in front of him, make sure he has a kid to sniff and some ice cream after, and they just say, read the prompter. And he's like, because ask your grandma what the fuck a ghost gun is. Right. She doesn't know what the fuck a ghost gun is. So he's up there like, we are going to take away ghost guns.
I know. It's really, really bad. And I don't know if you saw the story with Dianne Feinstein, but so there was like some anonymous members of the Senate. They didn't want to give their names. Democrats, by the way, who said they were conversing with Dianne Feinstein, who's the senior senator from California, the president pro tempore of the Senate, number 3 in the line of succession. They said that she was like unable.
Nancy Pelosi is.
No, Pelosi was the speaker. So the
gotcha.
is Feinstein.
Okay, sorry.
And I guess she was unable to remember like who she was, and like and then the woman was like up. She's like 89 years old. So what we have is these political consultants, these advisors who are the puppet masters here, who are just basically, like you said, running the teleprompter for people like Biden and Chuck Grassley and Dianne Feinstein, all these dinosaurs. And it's sort of like demagoguery.
That's
It's
wild,
really
man.
a shame.
Yeah, man. And who really is fucking? Who's behind it? Who's fucking writing this shit? Like, I'm curious. Is it? Do you think it is? Because you see how like Joe Biden will like say things like, "No, Build Back Better is my idea. I've been pushing Build Back Better," and you're like, you're just ripping off the World Economic Forum. Do you think it's Klaus Anal Schwab? Is he the one that's like sending him fucking notes and then they type it up? And
honestly, like, this is a Christian anarchist podcast. I can tell you right now, Jesus, who did he expel from? He went after the bankers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it's the banksters. Even to our time today, that extends into the modern day era. The people at the Federal Reserve, all roads lead back to the Federal Reserve because they are the true parasites who, when I got my degree in political science, the one thing that was evident was if you want to follow the truth, you want to get back to the end of the story, you want to find what's really going on, you got to follow the dollar. And all dollars lead back to the Fed. They have a monopoly on the issuance of currency, and the effects of that are sort of widespread and like they're just reverberate throughout the entire political economy in ways that a lot of people, myself included, can't even see. It's hard for us to even fathom the effects, like how important that is. And I think that they really sort of by manipulating the money supply, they're sort of pulling the strings here, and they're sort of, they sort of limit the scope of actions that politicians can take. It's really the bankers that are in charge.
Yeah, it always is, man. It's always the people that are making money that are fucking behind the scenes. It's interesting, man. And it's also interesting all the timing of everything. So I try to think of like what's going on, because you can call me a conspiracy theorist and I'll put on my tinfoil hat if you want me to. But I really start thinking about like, why now? Why the Russia-Ukrainian fight? What the fuck's going on there? And it all kind of, to me, it all circles back around to like this Event 201 and the World Economic Forum, how they keep saying that it's about them like crashing the economy. It's about wanting to have food shortages. It's about wanting us desperate and dependent. It's about like, it's this weird fucking thing. And so like they're blaming Russia, this whole Russian war, for our economic collapse. And they're trying to blame them why the gas prices are obscene. And it's like, buddy, they were already obscene. The dollar was already crashed. We were already in free fall fucking inflation. It has nothing to do with Russia that happened 10 minutes ago. Like, but they're trying to make a narrative. Like, I don't know. Do you feel any of that?
Absolutely. I've said this since day one. I sometimes I'll even retweet the tweet from like 2020. The Federal Reserve they're caught in a trap. It's typical business cycle theory that Mises described. They print a bunch of money, and then once you print the money, you create this malinvestment. And in order to liquidate that malinvestment, you have to have a retraction. You have to have a recession. That's a painful process to go through. So rather than going through that, like no politician wants to be in charge while there's a recession. So rather than going through that, they just print more money and print more money. And this started in 2000. Well, it started a long time ago, but the wheels really hit the ground here in 2008. And rather than letting us go through that painful, deep recession, they bailed out all the banks. They just kicked the can down the road. It's like a junkie going through withdrawals who, rather than going through the painful but necessary process of withdrawal, they just take another shot of dope in the arms to feel better. It's the same thing with printing money. So rather than going through the recession, they just keep printing money, but they need an excuse to do it. So, we had quantitative easing and 4 rounds of it since 2008 until today, which is like they've quadrupled. They've done more than quadruple the money supply. It's been out of control. So now they had to come up with a scapegoat. The first scapegoat was coronavirus. Yeah, right? We had to have stimulus checks. Nobody could work. Your business had to get shut down. It's so dangerous that you guys can't go to work. But thank God for Elizabeth Warren and Donald Trump and Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, because they're going to send you checks for $1,200. It was the biggest heist in human history. Nancy Pelosi made out the best, of course, out of anybody. because it was her deal. You and I made out the worst. The three of us, we all got screwed. Everybody watching, we got screwed. But all of that money had to come from somewhere. It was printed, right? So now, now we started to feel the effects again, and now there's a new enemy. The enemy now is Russia, and we have a war, and now we have to print money and gas prices, and you got to deal with it. It's not inflation's fault though; it's Putin's fault. So these are all scapegoats for the Federal Reserve to keep up their shenanigans, and it's this pure Misesian business cycle theory.
Yeah, man, and I almost think it's on purpose to the point of I think that at this point they want to crash the dollar. I think that this right now, what they're doing is they're printing out of control, reaping as much benefits as they can. They're putting it into their pockets, their cronies' pockets, but they know that this bubble's going to fucking burst. They have enough scapegoats to point at and say, hey, it wasn't us. And then This is going to be like, hey, but we have the answer. We're going to save you. This is the problem, reaction, solution. This is the Hegelian fucking dialectic. They're going to be like, look, this digital dollar is going to save everything.
Right. Well, that I think is that's interesting because I think that comes into play too. It like I said, it's just typical Misesian business cycle theory. So like as they there's only two choices here. We can either have recession or we can have hyperinflation. So if we have a recession, it's very politically unpopular. But if we go the other route, we have just continue inflation. They can make up excuses. They can come up with bullshit answers basically as to what's going on. Putin, COVID, whatever. So that's the road. They would rather crash the economy than crash the market and take the blame for it. So that's really what's going on here. But the digital dollar is interesting as you bring that up because part of the trouble that they have is when they give us stimulus checks, what they can't have is they can't have you go out and buy Bitcoin. They can't have you go out and buy gold or silver or guns or real estate, or they don't want you to pay off your debt. They don't want fixed assets. They want you to consume. You have to consume. In order to keep this game up, they want you to go out. They want you to go to Walmart, go to Target, go to the movies, take your family out to Chili's. They want you to consume to keep this game alive. It has to go back into the service sector. So in order to target the spending, they're going to announce this digital dollar. And what I think they're going to do is they're going to say, here are these credits, call them US dollars or central bank US dollars, whatever you want to call them, but they're essentially just going to be credits. But they're only good in certain places for certain things. And when they do this, it's only evidence of the fact that they're extremely desperate. I think it's just one of the things that one of the lifelines that they're going to throw into the water. But at the end of the day, it's not going to work. We know from reading Mises and Rothbard that we know how this ends. All bubbles burst, and they can't keep this up forever. So become your own bank before it's too late.
Yeah. So I have a slightly different, maybe more black-pilled view, which is that I think that they want this goddamn digital dollar because then every single thing that you spend, they have receipts. You can't be buying no ghost guns, and you can't. Yeah, they'll also tie things to your health insurance. They're like, you bought an extra soda pop, so your health insurance is going to go up. We told you you need to stay home. You've had enough meat this month. Yeah. You need to eat bugs. Yeah. We told you need to eat bugs.
So he wants you to eat one or two steaks per month is the math per person. You're absolutely right. I don't disagree with you at all. I think they're definitely going to use it for more control, more ridiculous stuff. But this is one more reason people to
buy Bitcoin.
Buy gold. Separate yourself, detach. Once you understand,
know your neighbors, get chickens.
It's exactly the beauty of agorism is that you are instantaneously liberated. There's no waiting for a vote or waiting to convince millions of Americans. As soon as you understand that you are free, you were born free by nature of being a human being. That is why you are free. So as soon as you actually understand that, then the game sort of changes, and your whole outlook and your strategy changes.
Yeah, just made a meme not that long ago. It was I'm not questioning your authority. I'm outright denying its existence. Yes, go fuck yourself.
That meme went viral. I saw it all over the place. I probably shared it.
what was I going to say? Oh, dude, but it's also funny watching them. Like, and I think this is probably desperation, or maybe they're just pricks. I'm watching. Did you hear that there's a new PCR test out for your chickens? That's what Tony was telling me about. That
No.
like they're going because they're saying that the bird flu is having an outbreak again, and so like I think it was in Iowa. They called like over 1 million fucking chickens. Like right now, when we're fucking desperate and hungry, and our money's worthless, and we're like this whole fucking.
And because it's the government, it's the last
Supply,
$1 million. They were perfectly good chickens, and I would guarantee it because it's the government.
They're fine. Yeah, those fucking chickens are fine. Like,
Yeah.
like okay, they got the bird flu. They'll get over it. Like, I don't even believe that the
Exactly.
bird flu exists. But even if it did,
I know.
okay, they're gonna fucking. You're gonna
I'm
have a
with
booger
you.
come out their fucking beak for a minute, and then they'll be all right.
know.
Like,
I'm with you.
fuck you.
And also the same people, if they do have bird flu, are just going to raise the chickens to the same exact thing and have more bird flu next. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no cost correction.
Pretty soon it'll be we all need. Pfizer has a new vaccine that's mandatory in the state of California, New York, and New Jersey that you have to get the new Pfizer bird flu vaccine.
Well, it's going to be that, or they're going to force an mRNA new vaccine for your chickens, and so all the fucking poultry, we're going to have that garbage in our bodies if we want to buy the fucking meat. Because they're already talking about making edible vaccines. They're talking about turning like tomatoes and like fucking vegetables. They're going to put it into the genetic code so that we'll be eating our vaccines. I'm like, fuck you. I'm growing my own food. Eat my ass and go fuck yourself.
I'm crazy when I say grow your own food. They're like, what? That's crazy, Sal. Come on. And
you sound less crazy this year than you did last year.
I know. I've been telling people, like, even if you're like in an urban environment and you don't have access to like a large plot of land, there are things you could do. There are ways around this. Go to newlibertarian.io, look up urban gardening, check out Curtis Stone, the urban farmer. There's all sorts of tips and tricks that are out there for you.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, get on Telegram, man. I was telling Sal this before. There's this there's this one fucking channel called the Preppers Collective or some shit that we're on, and dude, they have like gobs of fucking manuals that you can just download on like how to trap coyotes, how to fucking make medicine when you're out in the woods, what like proper foraging, how to grow this, like how to make improvised weapons if you need them, like in a drop of a hat. Like there's shit out there. Go and fucking do it. Right now is the time to do it. This fucking second. I mean, it would have been better a year ago, but get off your ass right now.
And honestly, if you're still not convinced, consider trying to source your food as locally as possible. So, like, I don't know. We might have spoke about this the last time I was here, but like, I have a ranch about an hour south of me here in Florida, and I know the rancher. I've got to know the guy because I've done business with him so often, and I can get pork, poultry, and beef right from the source. I can see the cows before they're slaughtered. Honey, he's got all sorts of other products.
Have a conversation with him, dude, and be like, look, if they say that your chickens have bird flu and they want them dead, call me. I'll buy 100 of them and I'll put them in my fucking freezer. One of the
things that he's complained to me about is the USDA and the regulations, and I have casually said to him, "Hey, look, man, I don't care. You don't have to. I don't need USDA certified anything. Yeah. You can do it here." And he's sort of, the eyebrows go up, and you plant the seed. Another thing you do, a tip for any listeners out there, is like offer them sound money, offer them silver coins or cryptocurrency. Even if they're old school, you'd be surprised. They might not be interested in crypto, but maybe they like silver coins or they'll be willing to barter for something that you have. Any way we can decrease demand for fiat slave notes is a win. Every dollar deprived from taxation is a dollar 100%. That you can't use to murder children on the other side of the world.
Fucking A, dude. 100%. We just got another comment from Brandon Wolf. He said, I'd take Sal more seriously if he grew a long hillbilly rat tail. So
I as you can see, I can't grow any hair. So
none in the back?
Nothing. I could grow one of those Florida style mullets.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, man. Yeah, you're out there now. You can get those big reflective glasses and like a fucking trucker hat.
Soon. Another 5-10 years for that.
So let's get back to guns, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk 3D printers. So,
Yeah.
like, I like how you said that we're 10 steps ahead. I love Cody Wilson. I think that's awesome that he has a 0%. What is he called?
Yeah.
Like
0% receiver now. A 0%.
That's dope. Let's talk about new technologies. Let's talk about cool shit, man. So, did you make that gun that's right there, right next to you?
Oh no, this is a Walter. This is
Okay.
this is a Walter PDP. This is a German gun. This is this is I bought that one, but I have a bunch of 3D printers. I have three main printers right now. Actually, of the three, two of them are in repair. I've got my personal use, by the way. This is I've got a one resin printer, which I should have brought out for the podcast. I would have had one printed, but yeah. So I have a resin printer, which is a new style of 3D printer. These are LCD printers, and essentially the way it works is you use photopolymeric resin, which is it's like a type of resin that reacts to light, and the resin goes into a vat, and on the bottom there's an LCD projector that will actually shine a light that forms that hardens the resin into one layer of your print, and then the bed actually rises up. And then the light will actually harden the second layer, and it'll rise up more and do the third layer, and so on and so forth until you complete your object. So I have an LD002R, which is in sort of.
So just for the ATF that's listening, we're talking about 3D printing dildos right now.
Yes,
so
yes. Oh no, they can go fuck themselves. I'm talking about freaking Glock 43s. So yeah, they can eat my ass. But so yeah, the LD002R is great because it's a little machine. It's tiny. You can buy it on my site, 3D Printer Go Bro. You can pay me with cryptocurrency so that you don't have to access any KYC payment platforms. I'm the only one who has any record of the sale. So unless they come after me, you're good. There's not going to be any bank that they can go through to find out that you bought a 3D printer. But by the way, that doesn't mean that the sale is private. You should still use Tor and a coin mixer and so on and so forth, a VPN. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. The LD002R is a resin printer. It's a cheap, basic starter model, and it's great for printing Glock 43s. It's small. It's a very tiny printer, so a Glock 43 is probably the only thing you can probably print with it. I'm not sure. I haven't really tried to print anything else, to be honest with you. But that's my favorite right now. That's what I'm having the most fun with. Then there's the other style of 3D printer, which is an FDM printer, which is your more traditional machine, the one that you've seen more often in pictures and stuff, which is where you have a bed and you have a metal extruder with a heated nozzle through which PLA plastic or ABS plastic or some other material you can use gets fed and heated and melted, and it deposits one layer, it raises, deposits another layer, and it forms, a gun or
That's
whatever.
fucking cool, man. What do you think is better right now?
The money if you're out for libertarian purposes, you should definitely still go with the FDM printer, only because the resin is still not as strong as you want it to be for the sort of projects that we're speaking about.
Gotcha.
There are ways you can do that. There are ways that you can change that. So you can use it's called the Blue Tech or some shit like that is the name of the resin, which is, there are like additives you can add to make the resin stronger that people have had success with. They've had a lot of success printing silencers this way. The name escapes me. I think it's like Blue Tech or some shit like that is the name of the resin. Soraya Blue Tech is the name of it.
Nice.
And there are additives you have to get. You mix them up together, and then you can do all this stuff that we're talking about. But that's a little bit more of an advanced process.
Yeah.
How long does this take?
Resin printers, that's the beauty of them. They're super quick because it's literally just a light shining and hardening, and then it moves up to another layer. Whereas with the traditional FDM printers, the nozzle has to move around and trace, and then it can raise up. So the resin printers are a lot quicker than the FDM printers. I'm printing a Glock 43 right now, like overnight. So I don't know, between 10 to 15 hours, I'm gonna guess.
The resin?
Yeah, for a
Okay.
resin printer. Yeah.
See, I'm dumb when it comes to this shit. Like, what does a traditional plastic one take? How long does that take?
It depends. Usually you're printing like a lower receiver, something like that. So it really depends on what you're printing. And there's different parts for different guns and stuff like that. I remember back in the day when we made the first Liberator, it was like a total of like 17 hours of printing. But you have to account for fuck ups and mistakes, so it ends up being more like 2 days worth of printing. But nowadays they have like FGC9, which I think is probably take you probably about somewhere the same 20, 30 hours. But then you got to assemble it, and you have to account for beginner's curve and stuff like that.
I have a lot of that.
You grab you a frame. I'll grab you one. 1 second.
So we have another comment. We'll wait till Sal gets back. But yeah, man, this is fascinating, dude. I want to fucking get into this. Like, I'm such a fucking boomer. It took me like 5 minutes to do something stupid earlier. So I think I'd have a longer learning curve than most. But
so I just grabbed like a couple of frames here, which are, by the way, these are all going pretty soon. This is like, I don't know how many years in prison this is going to be. In like 120 days. We're looking at like, I don't know, the rest of my life in prison. And I've got this is, I just grabbed a handful out of my box. So I mean, they can put me away for a long time here. But naturally, what I can do for you, just give me a second, I'll show you. This is
So.
Yeah. We should keep talking. This will be a podcast. No, you're good, brother. Let's just keep talking while you're doing stuff.
This is a real Glock 43. The one, like, I bought this one from the store. And this is the like a printed Glock 43. I'll give you a purple one.
Hell yeah.
Probably see better. As you can
Very
see,
nice.
It's basically the same thing.
Hell yeah.
It's basically the exact same thing.
Are there any like downsides? Are they like a slightly more breakable or anything like that, or do they have a pretty good like? Because I know at first they were having a hard time, right? Are they pretty?
Oh, no, they're up to par nowadays for sure. Absolutely.
Hell yeah!
I mean, I saw one. They're getting really good. I mean, some of these guys are just they're so talented at some like I'm trying to think of like the name on the Instagram account. But I saw one dude who was using some like exotic filament that it like was like a mixture of like carbon fiber, and you couldn't even tell the difference between like his frame and like a professional frame. Like it looked like this. It was just perfect.
I got a buddy that's going through gunsmithing school right now, and he's learning all this crazy shit. And man,
I want to go.
That'd be so fucking cool. Like if I really think like, dude, if you go to gunsmithing school and then you get hardened to this 3D printing thing, I think you could have a hell of a business.
Well, you need like an FFL, and I've considered getting an FFL and then just selling 3D printed guns. But the trouble is that to get an FFL, you really have to like bend over and let the ATF have their way with you.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would rather die than to even one of those low lives. So that's not going to happen, unfortunately. So for now, it's just 3D printers. And I by the way, I don't encourage anybody to do anything illegal, obviously, because I don't want to get in trouble. So
this is all for entertainment purposes only. And
hypothetical. Know your local laws, follow them.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
And we do or do not encourage the gray and black market. So.
Yeah, of course.
So we got another comment. This is from Christopher Pruitt. He says, "Sal, where do you source all your tweeted memes? So funny."
Man. I get them all over. I used to make more of them, and at this point, I probably I probably only make like 10 to 15% of them at this point. The rest of them come from Instagram, Facebook groups, friends, pages, stories, stuff like that, everywhere. I get them from all over Reddit, Snapchat, everywhere.
So I'm curious about the international market of 3D printers. Do you know anything about that? Is this just an American phenomenon? Or?
So, all right. So after after the conflict in Burma, I don't know if you guys saw that. There was sort of like a military junta.
Yeah, I did see that.
And they were really brutal, and they were like just murdering people left and right. So we actually started shipping to Myanmar, to Burma. And now if you go online and you look at, you can just do a quick search for 3D printed guns in Burma, you can see the effects of how 3D printed guns are revolutionizing conflict against the state. So I that's so I have like, it's really difficult to ship to sort of these places. I kind of got lucky by being able to ship to Myanmar. I also started shipping to Australia because it's such a tight gun-free zone. But the shipping was like outrageous. It's like $200, and I don't think I've had any orders to Australia because the shipping is so outrageous. But look, wherever there is conflict, wherever the government is oppressing people, there's going to be a demand for 3D printers. And that's where we as Agorists have to come in and try to, as entrepreneurs, as Agorist entrepreneurs, we have to come in and try to fulfill that demand in a way that sort of protects the consumer to the greatest degree possible. And I think that's, as an Agorist, that's the real opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I didn't know that you would be like...
Oh yeah, we it's hard. We try to ship this everywhere. But it's hard. Right now, the only two places internationally are Myanmar and Australia. You'd be surprised. It's actually cheaper to ship to Asia in some circumstances than it is to ship to Canada.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tony, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I was wondering about like Canada and what the 3D market is there. Cause I'm just like, there's some oppression there, and
it's crazy, and because I have the demand is there, but and the same thing with Europe, and I do ship to Europe. I should add that some places in Europe, but I don't know, Canada for some reason, and there's also some states in Europe that are hard to do business in. They're called EFTA states, where like just it's very onerous, like the shipping and the taxes, and it's just a pain in the ass for whatever reason. Like when I try to go to UPS, or even if I try to like contact the shipper directly, it's like nobody wants to ship to Canada,
That's wild, man. I wonder how much of that is like, has it always been that way, or is that just a recent thing? Because I feel like it's probably a recent thing, huh?
It's been that way since I tried to do it. I know even with at agorithreads.com with clothing, I know it's very expensive to ship to Canada for some reason.
What the fuck is the NAFTA all about then? Those son of bitches.
I know. And then, like I said, there's like a group of states, or like the EFTA states in Europe. It's like Sweden, Iceland, and like Denmark, and like maybe the Netherlands or something, where it's like you got to pay like $12 to ship there, and then you also have to pay like their taxes, which are through like the VAT tax they have. It's through the roof. Canada is not that bad, but it is still expensive.
Well, it's all those pseudo-socialist countries, man.
Yeah,
it's hard protectionism, right? Like, so because they have the fucking tariffs and all that kind of shit, right? That's
but
like
they're only hurting themselves because
it
makes them less likely to like engage in the global market. It's like, why would they want to do that?
Because I mean they're kind of like, in a weird way, they're socialists and they're nationalists, so national socialists, but but like, so a lot of that too is just like they want to protect their own workers and things like that. So I think they jack up anything that's, I mean, that's what Trump was trying to do to us, right? He was trying to insulate, trying to get us to manufacture everything here, which does, I mean, in some things, like theoretically, if we're talking about the empire and if we're all gung-ho behind the empire, I think we do want to have all our like steel manufacturing here. We don't want to have like maybe China, because we're buying cheap steel from China, and then if we get in an issue with China, like trying to go like, fuck you, we're not selling you any steel, we're not going to help you fight us, right? And so then we don't have the steel mills or something. Like, I don't know, I had some fucking
That's the whole
douchebag
point of not having an empire. That's why I
well,
would prefer
sure, yeah,
to not have it at all.
it's
And then
only
this
if you're
way-
gung-ho about having an empire and trying to bully everyone on the entire world stage that
Right.
becomes an issue.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you know, if you want to, I don't care if you want to buy steel from the man on the moon. That's between you and him. God bless.
We got another, man, we got a lot of fucking, we got a lot of comments here. So Brandon Wolf says, yeah, this is all on YouTube. Brandon Wolf says, aside from cryptocurrency and 3D printing, what have each of you accomplished in terms of agriculture, parallel markets, and community building? I'll take the first, I guess. I've got chickens, and we're working on a garden out here, and we've been trying to fucking do that. We're sort of part of, we have some friends out here that are part of like a freedom cell sort of thing, and we try to trade as much as we possibly can and things like that. So we do what we can. You know, I still work 50 hours plus a week, and I got a 6-month-old, so I can't really be out doing all that shit as much as I possibly can. But you know, that's basically it for me. I'm doing my best. Sal, you want to take that?
Same, doing the best. So I don't know, I forget what the question was. Was agriculture?
Yeah. So what have we done as far as agriculture, parallel markets, and community building?
So agriculture, I mean, I haven't done enough, obviously. I've done podcasts with, you know, Jack Spirko and Curtis Stone to try to spread the message.
Yeah.
I've published multiple blog articles at newlibertarian.io. Obviously I've, you know, engaged people in social media and stuff like that to try to, I've encouraged them to grow their own food on various social media platforms. Parallel markets, I've encouraged people to, you know, become their own bank, to engage in peer-to-peer markets where there's no KYC, stuff like that. So, you know, doing the best I can with the time I have, and, you know, trying to get everybody else involved.
And I may or may not do some things under the table that I won't admit to here.
Yeah,
so as far as the parallel market goes, we got a little market going.
That's the beautiful thing about it. Everyone's like, well, what do you do? And it's like, well, if I told you, you know, then I like a very good OPSEC.
Tony, you want to answer that question?
Yeah, I'm really getting into growing plants from seeds this year, and I just want to really learn the process. So just know that. I want to just be able to cultivate my own seeds. I don't have a huge plot of land to put down a lot of stuff. I'm going to do what I can and try to put down community as much as I can. Still working on it. So it's.
Yeah, I mean, speaking for me, I got some cool fucking trees out here on this property. Like, we just put in a new apple tree, like several varieties of apples actually, and we just planted a nectarine tree. We bought some fucking berry bushes. We got a big old giant like golden raspberry bush that's going crazy. Like,
oh man, that's good.
Like, so we're doing what we can. We have another comment here. It says, so during the pandemic, there was a shortage of ammo and even the special pins to repack your own shells. How does this bottleneck get solved when the state finally makes its move?
Scamdemic, number one, not a pandemic. It's a scamdemic. But yeah,
this is from Christopher Pruitt.
There was like an ammo shortage. It's still, prices are high. I mean, I haven't been to Bass Pro in a few weeks, but prices.
How much are you getting how much are you getting per round right now? Like 9 mil.
I don't even know, honestly. It's been so long since I've been to them. I just bought it because it got to be so friggin' expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was getting out of hand there for a while though. And 380 is just as bad.
He says scandemic and LOL. So yes, I mean, I went out to like a local fucking hillbilly gun show out here, and I got some ammo. I won't say how much or what I got, but I got it under 40 cents a round right now, which is
range ammo though.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, it'll it'll hurt somebody. It's okay for self-defense.
Yeah, as long as it goes boom. But if you get like a bad round or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the one thing that you're still able to get is Russian ammo. Is I was like thinking that, man, I was so fucking pissed the day they stopped selling Russian vodka. I had got it in my ass. I was like, dude, I'm gonna go fucking buy a bottle of Russian vodka. I'm gonna fucking live post it and trigger people and start taking shots of fucking vodka and just be a dick. And they just fucking took it off, like literally. And so I went to because I live in like a little hillbilly county out here, and I went to the lady and I was like, because I was looking at all the vodkas going up and down. I was like, do you guys have any Russian vodka? And then she just looked at me like I was being the most unpatriotic motherfucker in the world.
And the funny part is we're getting all our fertilizer from Russia too, so it's
we're fucked.
Yeah.
They're a big
we're not thinking about that at all.
Dude, a huge source of grain. Yeah, I think what it is, it's like between Ukraine and Russia, do they supply like 40% of the wheat in the world or something crazy? It was something nuts like that. And right now is peak getting in the ground season, and obviously that's not happening because they're too busy. Like they've been hiring too many crisis actors pretending to shoot each other, and
they're flooding with
get some angry ones for that too.
You know what I mean? It's like we're flooding them with armaments, and like we're only making the situation worse. We're drawing it out, prolonging it, making it worse than it has to be, increasing the amount of casualties beyond what it needs to be. And, driving up, the food shortages, like you're saying, and the wheat harvest. And
it's all on purpose, dude. It's all so fucking calculated.
All roads lead back to the Federal Reserve. I really believe that the bankers at the end of the day are going to they're going to pay for these sins one day, one way or another.
Guillotine.
I know. That's what should happen, but
that's what should happen. Yeah. After we give them a trial, we'll give them.
The pure Agorist way, the true Agorist way, is to have them work off their debts to society. But I would argue that people like Lloyd Blankfein owe too much to pay off.
How do you make Nancy Pelosi pay off her fines? Like, she take her dentures out and make her just...
She would never. But she would be welcome onto an Agorist work camp where she can work off the remainder of her days. She can start working off that debt.
Like treatment stuff. I mean...
I have filthy things in my head, so I'm just going to not say them.
This is the only way to Konkin talks about this in one of his articles. Like, how do we address the issue of how do we deal with politicians in a post-revolutionary society? Once we've achieved the Agora, what do we do with these former criminals? And the only way to do it, he says, in a way that's consistent with the non-aggression principle, that we don't have to initiate violence on anyone, is by making them work off their debts to their victims. And I think it's intellectual brilliance on Konkin's part to come up with that. And it makes absolute sense. People knock us for the Agorist gulags, but, it beats the Robespierre or Oliver Cromwell style.
Who the fuck knocks us for that? Because all of those fucks, what do you call a prison right now? What do you call
I know. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
We don't call it a gulag, though. We just make you fucking do hard labor inside of fucking prisons in California.
I know.
We'll give you 40 cents an hour.
Well, it even makes less sense than that because you just got someone in a room.
Right.
Like, that's even, like, no one benefits from that. And then you have to pay someone to watch that person.
Yeah, you have to rob other people to pay them.
You have to rob people to buy the food to feed them, and then you have to do the whole fucking thing. It's a fucking racket, man. Yeah.
Whereas in the restitution camps, it works the opposite way. They're the ones working to pay off the debt.
Well, I feel like it would kind of emerge naturally in an Agorist society because if you found these people, you wouldn't have to set up these camps. It would just be like, we're all trading with each other. And we're like, we all don't like that person. So to give that person anything, we're really going to make them.
Well, in a truly free society, somebody who's spent their life living in San Francisco has a legitimate legal claim against Nancy Pelosi. This woman has caused these people harm, either literally, physically through her legislation, or economically by oppressing them and making business opportunities go away. So they have a real legitimate legal claim that should, and in a free society in the Agora, could be filed. And the way that would play out would be like, all right, Mrs. Pelosi, get to work. You owe everybody hundreds of millions of dollars. You don't have that much money left anymore. So you have to work off that you're debt to everyone. And because she's old, she would probably die in the process.
Do we have her knitting blankets for like what?
Oh yeah. Well, it's up. It would be up to the purveyor of the work.
We'd have to watch her because she'd try to shove that knitting needle in her eye or something, try to get out of it.
My dream in life, my goal, my passion is to oversee one of these work camps for politicians. So where it can be like, work harder, Mrs. Pelosi, and then you just like whip her, and, like the Django on horseback or something.
She's gonna have like a fucking like a zap collar around her neck.
Yes, exactly. Yes, this is for the children of Yemen.
Fucking A, man. Well, Sal, we love you. We thank you. That was some super knowledgeable shit. Hey, Tony, do you have any more questions?
No, I don't think I do right now.
Brother, thank you so much, man. Do you have some closing shit you want to talk to us about guns? Or did we leave any? Did we miss anything?
First of all, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure. I love coming on the show. You guys are great. Anybody out there who wound up here from my Twitter, you guys should all subscribe. Definitely check out 3dprintergoburr.com because the opportunities are fading very quickly. Pretty soon you won't be able to make one of these. Like I said, this is, there's no way of them knowing what you have and what you don't have. But pretty soon
that's the best meme that I've seen so far is them saying, that fucking meme that talks about like anything 3D printed is grandfathered in without the fucking so he's like, so how the fuck do you know when this was made?
Yeah.
So fuck you. That's it.
So
the family.
I made this 8 years ago. You have no idea.
Exactly.
Go fuck yourself.
That's the beauty of 3D printing is it's sort of like having a factory that fits on your desk. So you can make anything. And that's really the future. That's where we're heading. That's where manufacturing and retail is headed. Everything is sort of being decentralized and 3D printer is like a big step in that direction.
Those look like great fucking desk weights. I think that's all you're printing right now. Is these
they are
beautiful desk weights.
These are going in the garbage as soon as we're done with this podcast. I would not keep these. Come on, these are garbage.
Sorry, Sal. Keep doing your plugs, brother.
So 3dprintergoburr.com. Check it out. You can pay with crypto, so you don't have to avoid KYC payment platforms. Agora threads for libertarian, agorist, and anarchist apparel, clothing, stuff like that. Also, we obviously prefer cryptocurrency. We want to help build that counter economy, help replace the state. So check that out. I don't have a copy of Anti-Politics on hand. That's the book. Check it out. That's on Amazon. If you prefer to pay with crypto, you can shoot me a DM on social media, and we'll arrange that too.
We'll put a link for Anti-Politics in the show notes.
Awesome.
All right, brother. I'm going to play our outro, and then we'll head out of here.
Thank you, gentlemen.